Alright, I had an epiphany as to what gravity is. I was looking at a picture of the Grand Canyon, and people say, that they have this very intense euphoric feeling when they look at the Grand Canyon, and a lot of that, I think, has to do with the fact that you're looking at very distant things, so you get this perception that you're up very high, even though you're on the ground. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, wouldn't that be interesting if you could depict the entire Earth such that it were around you, and you could see China way up in the sky, and it's kind of like the Star Trek with the Dyson sphere, and I was thinking, like, because I've always had this idea about gravity having to do with the expansion of matter, and but it just didn't work with explaining orbits and things like that. And so suddenly I thought, like, what if the next dimension could be explained such that densities are reversed. So for instance, the center of the Earth would become very spacious, and the lighter densities towards the outside actually became the more began gaining density. So what became very interesting was that the universe would then be more or less like a condensed point, but that isn't to say that the universe, the space, the least dense areas of the universe would become like dense points, and then the more dense areas would become like less dense. So stop, please don't. So I'm sorry, my cat. Leo, please. Now, where was I? So it would look like that. It would what would it do? It wouldn't necessarily like invert things, but it reminded me of, like, it would give you a better, like, it would give you a perspective that you could not have imagined before. I'm trying to think of an example here, like with the Flatlander story, where the person was constricted to viewing things in a line because it was a two-dimensional person living in a plane. Then the three-dimensional, once he sort of took a look at his world from a third-dimensional perspective, he was blown away by how he could see inside of everything, and he could he could actually interact with the insides of things. So I think if we could correctly imagine a literal, like, complete reversal of densities, then we'll know what it looks like from the next perspective. But where does gravity play into this? Well, gravity, I think, is the result, like, we have space expansion as a result of the Big Bang, so space is expanding. So if that's the case, then perhaps when we take a look at it from the next dimension, there's no change. Space is still expanding, except now you've got it from the idea that the densities are expanding, and they're essentially like, because the densities, the density now representing the space is expanding, you can see how what it's actually doing is it's pushing the less dense things away. Like, I'm trying to think how to explain this live on camera. Do you have it hit me, and I'm trying to conjure it back up. So if space is expanding, in both dimensions. Then in the next dimension, the expansion of that space is ultimately pushing that's it. The expansion of the dense space, of the reverse space, is pushing, damn it. The expansion of the dense space is pushing the lighter things into it. Let's see if I can conjure it up again so I can explain it better. If you have more dense, for instance, if the core of the Earth became like space, then the less dense things on the surface would ultimately, as a result of that expansion, come together. No. It means that the space outside of the surface of the planet becoming dense is actually... Stop, please. The... Leo! Leo! I want to bring him over here and kiss him. That would mean that the rest of space becoming somewhat like a black hole, like a central black hole, would essentially be causing the less dense areas